Hello, everybody. Scott Golden here with the Pro Wrestling Logic YouTube channel and the World Class Championship Wrestling Review Series. We are in February of the year 1984, and we journey through the month of February. Gentleman Chris Adams, the American Heavyweight Champion, facing off against the NWA World Champion on this episode, Ric Flair, and obviously Flair coming to town big for any territory, but he always seems to put working boots on in Texas. Goes without saying. But we've got some matches to get to before we get there, including the Missing Link and Mike Reed to open the program. Missing Link somewhere along the way in the last several weeks has joined the stable of Skandor Akbar, obviously. Link needing someone to do his talking. He's only here for a few more months. We do see him hit a leaping attempt at a headbutt that misses, falls a little short. Reed comes up, tries to fight back. Link does not allow this very well, and goes to a punch kick style. Will bite, will send himself into the buckle and do other major things. Fall forward slam by the Link as well. The match goes only about 2.5 minutes, but that's all he needs, with a diving headbutt. And then we go into a Freebirds promo. Freebirds talk about not being done with the Von Erichs, whether it's Mike, whether it's Kerry, whether it's Kevin, it doesn't matter to them. I don't know that this was taped before the death of David, but it seems like it is. Freebirds talk about wanting to be and continuing to be the best six-man team in the world, and that's there. The layout of Mike Von Erich is highlighted, basically a highlight package. By this point, you got to realize the feud has gone on over 1 year between the Von Erichs and the Freebirds, which would be unheard of these days. But we move into the Masked Man Fisherman versus Perro Aguayo. Now, Perro Aguayo, a name that if you are a Mexican wrestling fan, Lucha Libre fan, Perro, one of the biggest baby faces of the 90s, but getting his start here, and at least stateside. Obviously, cage matches and many feuds with Conan and other Lucha Libre stars for several years. Fisherman, good challenge for him, as there are several lucha-style arm drags and speed moves by Aguayo. Aguayo, of course, actually has Aguayo Jr., also a major star in Mexico. And back and forth match. Surprised that Aguayo has as much trouble as he does with this man, because the Fisherman character really only used as an enhancement talent to this point, or a fill-in let's say, fill-out 6-man, 8-man tag team matches. Not really a guy that you'd expect a stylistic challenge from, although maybe brought in specifically for the mask and the thought toward the lucha style. But Fisherman does not get what he wants from the match, which is obviously a victory here. Aguayo, using a lot of speed and power when given the opportunity, manages to hit kind of I guess you'd call it a senton splash right across the ribcage, and does not get the victory there, but gets it soon thereafter. Senton first seen in this area by, oddly enough, Chris Adams, I think, and Samoan drop gets a offensive maneuver for Aguayo. Aguayo then with the top rope, or second rope, senton, that does get him the victory. And we move into Buddy Roberts and Mike Von Erich. Buddy Roberts, a guy who has been a utility player all along, gets a reasonably competitive match out of Von Erich here, which is not easy to do with the youngster. Lots of fire from Von Erich that we haven't seen quite yet. So the Freebirds feud bringing out of young Mike some fire, maybe, Buddy leading him through, Buddy having the experience. Match breaks down quite a bit and quite easily. Buddy actually begs off a couple of times. Amazing how milquetoast white Mike hasn't exactly seen a tanning bed, but anyway, he keeps the mat on the ground, headlock, chin locks, sleeper holds, and the like. Buddy manages to hit a couple of cheap shots to the throat, uppercuts, and that to gain advantages. Also, Mike sent to the outside, I believe through the middle rope, but sent to the outside by Roberts. Roberts not afraid to cheat when needed, and shoots the half and gets a near fall. Mike able to kick out in the last second. The fans certainly behind that. Then, we do see a attempted shift, but the rookie mistake of dropping the head leads to problems for Mike Von Erich. And Von Erich eventually does get his victory, but takes all he has to get it. And the referee has to kind of keep him, under wraps a little bit. But Mike is doing the best he can with what he's given. Manages to, sell appropriately, gets hit with a backbreaker and other various things that to kind of catch him off guard. Certainly, Buddy Roberts having years of experience on Von Erich, and you can see him having to lead the man through the match quite a bit, and a shove off into the buckle, roll up 1, 2, 3 is all it's taken. One thing that's really cool about Mike Von Erich is you see how excited he gets over the simplest of wins, which is what a guy in his, rookie year, even if he is from a famous family, should be doing. Obviously, having that respect for wins and losses means something here, even in Texas. If you're Von Erich, we move to the championship match as the champion Ric Flair and the American champion Chris Adams. Almost said Chris Von Erich. He's not here yet. But Chris Adams is here, and this is a better match than I expected. Not that I didn't think that Adams could turn it up. Anyone can, Flair can bring a good match out of anyone, but Adams seems to do better with certain opponents. But anyway, match is on the slower side. Von Erich, I'm sorry, keep doing that. Adams uses, the top wrist lock and headlock controls quite a bit. Flair tries to set him on the top turnbuckle a couple of minutes into the match, showing a little bit of disrespect, a little bit of, like I can dominate you, kid. Here we go. And remember, this is probably the second or third title reign of the NWA for Flair. Flair coming off of just less than a month before, or less than 2 months anyway. Starrcade 83, the win over Harley Race, and this is really 84 through 89, Flair's prime years. So seeing him still travel the territory is a big deal, and obviously Flair is able to bring matches out of anybody. Adams uses his knowledge of body parts to work the arm of Flair. Worth going out of your way to see this if you like Flair, or if you want to see one of Adams' better matches that isn't with Jimmy Garvin. I like the Garvin feud. I'm not necessarily sure that if he's in there with somebody different. For example, I didn't like Adams with Jose Lothario nearly as much, but worth going out of your way to see this, obviously being a Flair match. Big body slam towards the end, and Adams stays on the man, literally, and Flair does fight back rather valiantly. Bails to the outside. Referee gives Flair the count, and Flair takes every bit of it that he can. Flair does not seem to want to remain in the ring. 1, 2, 2 count on a small package, and Flair unimpressed, willing to cheat to gain victory if needed. Attempted sunset flip, hard takeover by Adams, and Flair comes out the back door of that. Flair and Adams go into a series of near falls. Adams comes up with the sleeper hold, nearly has Flair out and about. Flair has not bladed by this point in the match, which we're used to seeing happen, but Flair doesn't need to blade every night, as some guys are more technically based. And, hey, it is what it is. But Flair obviously not going to lose the championship here. Adams, though, does have him do the upside down in the corner spot, and among other things. And they really do go very close to the end of the program. Even with less than 2.5 minutes left, they're still going. There is a soccer-style kick to Flair's hamstring that's pretty vicious looking for 83 style match anyway. And both men are sweating. I mean, they go a good 15, 18 minutes here, and not that Flair, who is used to going 60, can't do it, but Adams certainly getting tested. We are, when you're fast approaching that TV time limit, Flair does get the reversal, does a carry through finish as Adams hits the near fall, and Flair gets the pin, just kind of letting Adams' momentum carry him through. Great match, worth going out of your way to see if you haven't before. Then that will close the February 18th, 1984 version of World Class. Keep your feet on the ground, your mind in the moment, here on the 100th episode of the World Class Review Series.